Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people that you do business with. And today we're going to bring you closer to someone that helps you hit the ball a little straighter and longer out there. So we're excited to be joined by Jim Krause. He's the owner and founder of Longshot Golf. And first of all, Jim, thanks so much for joining us on your busy day.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
Business and Personal Podcast. That's the name here. So tell us a little bit about Jim and what led you on the winding road to Longshot Golf.
I ask that question quite often, and there's not really a super solid answer for that. It was just in between enterprises. I've started a number of companies in my lifetime, and it was, as you well know, living in the Michigan area here, whenever we have a recession in the country, it's a depression in Detroit. So, looking to do something different and playing golf at the time, I wasn't an avid golfer. I didn't start till I was in my mid-20s, but it just kind of occurred to me after practicing that if I at least knew the basics, which was where am I making contact with the ball, and then use my own trial and error to influence that, it would help. So then I started on a search for the materials. Then led to the patenting and of course opening the company, which is a general label company, because we had to buy machinery that makes regular labels anyway. So it's the same process. That's kind of where that came about.
And you're right. Golf's all about striking the ball. You're nowhere unless you're striking the ball in that right spot. And then that's the interesting thing about golf. Everybody's swing looks different, but it's all about the end point of where you get there. So what can people expect with your product? How exactly does it work?
Basically, it's a very universally used, very inexpensive product. We're basically the largest selling training, fitting, teaching aid in the game because, of course, they're inexpensive label type things. So we make millions of them a year, and are sold to all the major club makers. They use them to fit golf clubs, which has been our mainstay of our business for a very long time, and we retail them. So it's just generally we make them in sizes, shapes, and things for different clubs, and it's just a matter of take it out of the box, put it on the club, and then see what happens. And you can hit each one numerous times, so you'll kind of get an idea of where you're headed.
Yeah, so it seems like that's a very simple and easy product for people to use. And on your website, you kind of take people through it really step by step as well. There's an Own Your Swing section of the site without going through in detail each one of those steps. You give kind of an overview of what that goes through.
Yeah, it comes down to the Own Your Swing section. I ended up writing. We were lucky in the early days of the company in that we latched on to the OEM business, and it really didn't require us to have to explain a whole lot to anybody about what we did, because they knew what they do with the material. And now that we're doing a lot of consumer business, the Own Your Swing setup was written to explain to people, now I see where I hit the ball, what do I do about it? What can I do? Is there a path? Is there a methodology to using this material myself without having other people involved? And we try to make the point that golf is it's a contact sport as far as we're concerned. I mean, if you're not making good contact, there is no such thing as good golf without good contact. It just can't happen. I mean, pros are pros because they hit the center of the club all the time. When they miss, it's a big deal. When we hit it, it's amazing. You can feel it. It's the shot that brings you back. It's the whole deal. So Own Your Swing basically was breaking down the system into 5 steps, and start with the baseline, which is just generally assessing your game. Try to get an idea of how far you actually hit the ball, not how far you think you hit the ball, or actual carry distances, and what are your best clubs, what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. And again, we don't propose our material as an end-all be-all training item. What we're saying is that throughout any step of your process, whether it be buying clubs, taking a lesson, practicing range work. It's a verification tool, much the same as you wouldn't sight a rifle in without a paper target. You don't just shoot in the air and figure you know where it went. So this is what it's basically laid out for. So step one is baseline. Step two is what we call a physical map, which is you got to assess your own strengths and weaknesses physically. What can you actually do? At your age, I mean, at my age, it's hard. I mean, I'm 90 days removed from another back surgery. So it's one of those things that you have to know what you can actually do. You can't sit there and watch a tip that says gain 10 miles an hour in swing speed, and you can't turn your body into proper orientation. So you're 10 miles an hour getting you 20 yards out of bounds further. It's all based on you have to assess your strength, and you can do that. The labels tend to help you be able to tell where you can stand, posture, things of this nature, different ways to swing. Everybody's a little different. You just try to make it to the point where you get as consistent a contact as you can.
So what does success look like? When can someone notice, okay, yeah, this is actually working for me?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, and sometimes I don't even use my own material enough. We have a test net in a facility, and with the back issue, we can't turn, and I'm just trying to eke out once a week of some exercise. And I threw it on the club and found that I was dropping every shot I had on the toe of the iron. So what I did was just experiment. You try standing more upright. You try to get a little closer, a little further, swing in, swing out. And within about 20 minutes, I kind of got to the point where I could make the moves I needed to make to get the ball back toward the center of the club. And it made a tremendous difference. I mean, it increases your accuracy, your distance, and everything else that you do.
So how can people get your product and get it shipped out to them? Do you work with people anywhere across the United States?
Yeah, we website, which is the longshotgolf.com website. It had been around for over 20 some years. It's a direct factory, direct pricing site. Everything is on there that we make. And we do also have a Amazon site that Longshot has, but it doesn't carry all the same materials that we carry on our main site, because we have products that start from packages that start at like under $10 on up to whatever's needed for fitters. So it's all available on the site. It's over $25 is for US shipping. So it's pretty easy to get, and it's all in stock.
And I've got that website listed on the screen here for anybody that's interested in these products. You can go check it out. And anybody that's still listening here, Jim, I'm sure is very interested in the product. So hopefully we help people hit the ball a little straighter here. I appreciate you taking the time.